Chapter 141. We're in your walls. Summary. With the Glockaberries scared, it's time to infiltrate the ship. Katsuki shifts, angling his body to block some of the dust pelting Mei and Mina. Their perch on the roof of the ship isn't that much worse than the ground, but the raging winds feel more threatening up here. It's at least something for him to do right now. Mei is moving along the body of the ship, tapping against the metal hull and listening for something. Apparently, she can identify where a sealed crawl space is from the sound of an echo. He's not sure how that works, but she is the expert. Still, everything about this has him on edge. So many things could happen if this goes wrong. The Glockaberry are cowards that got the drop on them last time. Since then, he and the others have taken that underhandedness for themselves. They're better than those trafficker scum in every way. It doesn't help the tension that sets his jaw, though. Aha! Mei exclaims, pulling her head up from the ship. She doesn't bother explaining, switching focus to rummaging through her bag. Huffing, Katsuki lets his eyes roam over to a spot further up the ship. The others should be done playing with shadow puppets and be in place by now. With the sounds of screeching metal concentrated on the Glockaberry's front door, they shouldn't notice the thud of hull-sealing foam expanding when they breach the outer wall. Katsuki stands, or rather crouches, guard, as Mei cuts through the thick metal with one of their tools. Just because no one should notice them up here doesn't mean they're safe. They're never safe. Mina reacts in the split second the final piece of metal is severed, and industrial sealing foam rushes up to plug the hole, pulling Mei's arm out of the way before it can be ensnared. The gremlin gives a quiet thanks before she's back at it, working the glowing torch through the hardened foam. Even after knowing Mei for so long, Katsuki can't tell if it's courage or sheer crazy that pushes her forward. This time, the hull breaches without a vent, and dust quickly rushes in to blanket the freshly exposed innards of the ship. Something which can't be good for all the wires and piping running through the small recess. Katsuki takes it as another little fuck you he is more than happy to show the traffickers. The three of them slip into the hole, lurking silently between the hull of the ship and its true inside. With a nod from Mei, Mina tosses up the capsule she's pulled from her jacket pocket, no one flinching as the bright pink foam expands to cover their entrance. The dust inside settles, and after a quick confirmation from her datapad, Mei confirms the hull has been sealed. As tempting as it is, no one is going to die today, so they need the crawl space sealed before they can break into the main ship. First, though, Mei pulls out the sleek biorhythm scanner from her bag. She's got to stretch up on her toes, but she manages to nestle it in a vent. "All right," she says, the thing opening up at the touch of her datapad. "It looks like there are 4 life forms in the cockpit, 5 by the door, and 2 somewhere else."
"2 on their own?" Katsuki mused. "Might be trying to fix the ship's power, or gather weapons."
"They're out of the way for now," Mei shrugged. "You're free to enter through the front whenever, you 3. We'll be heading to the cockpit now. Stay safe."
Katsuki prays. Though not to Nezu, Mei is not converting him to that fucking cult. That the 3 dumbasses on the other side listen to Mei and come out of this all right. Following the others' lead, Denki lets the cacophony of scrapes and bangs he's unleashing at the Glockaberry's front door fall into silence. With the others in the ship, there was nothing more to distract them from. Instead, They let the nothingness settle. Scarier than not knowing what was banging on your door was not knowing where that something was after it stopped.
Everyone ready?
Izuku asks. Denki shakes out his hand, knuckles slightly sore from the knocking.
To kick some ass? Always.
To turn their bones into one big jigsaw puzzle that no one will be able to put back together? Of course.
Ochako smiles.
Oh man, that was so much better than mine.
Izuku sighs.
You have the door access workaround, Denki? Of course.
He reaches a hand into his pocket, fishing around for the device he created that would let them temporarily restore power to the door.
I wouldn't forget my baby. I really have been spending too much time around Mei. She's thoroughly corrupted us.
Izuku agrees, as he locates where the door's wiring is and proceeds to rip the metal panel off the wall without a hint of his quirk. Denki wastes no time, slicing through the ship's wires and connecting the ends to his invention. With a tap, the outer airlock doors slide smoothly open. Letting the dangling wires follow them in, Denki closes the door, and the door severs its own wires as it seals. It's pitch black when the door closes. He hadn't realized just how much the faint light of the system's sun was doing until it was gone. A cone of light shines on the door in front of them, trailing up to where Zuko was holding a penlight. The greenette doesn't bother with ripping the metal off the next panel, opening this one like a normal person. Pausing after the device connection is established, Denki asks,
You guys ready?
A quiet shink accompanies Ochako's staff extending. Ready. Izuku positions himself at the front, shield at the ready. After a click, the only light left is the green square of the invention screen.
Open the door.
Swiftly, the doors part, and the passageway erupts into movement. Half a dozen darts fly forward. They bounce uselessly off Izuku's shield. Abandoning his invention, Denki unfurls his whip, striking out into the hall ahead. They're not close enough to the auxiliary lighting for Denki to get a good look at what's where or even who's there, but that doesn't matter. He doesn't feel the hit connect, but he hears several shouts and alarm and the hollow clatter of more than one blowgun hitting the ground. The trio move forward as one, and Denki finally gets a good look at the Glockaberry. There are things he notices this time that were lost on him before. Bits of armor he mistook for exoskeleton, the twitching of antenna not moving aimlessly, but trying to take in the situation, the fearful expression on the entirely inhuman face. Denki sees little bits of their journey through space in the details his memory flattened. These weren't cardboard cutout monsters. They were people. Bad people who would be getting what's coming to them. Ochako is darting forward, leaving the protection of Izuku's shield to rush the gathered aliens. A few darts shoot towards her, but she dodges one and knocks the other off course with her staff. Before the traffickers have time to reload, Ochako has closed the distance. Following her lead, Denki steps away from Izuku, using the space to more fully wind up his whip. He brings it down with a crack, shattering the blowgun that one of the cockroach aliens was grabbing for. Keeping the flow going, he obliterates the other, still on the ground. Izuku's shield bounces off the wall, ricocheting into the nearest trafficker, now without their weapon. They go down like a stack of bricks. Ochako is knocking another two to the ground in quick succession. The other without their weapon suddenly charges at Denki. He tries to set up his whip, but there's no time before the oversized bug is slamming into him. The impact barely shakes him, much too light to knock him back, but it does startle him.
Too many hands come out to grapple him, restraining his arms. He tries to shift his weight, but their grip keeps him firmly in place. Instead, he lashes a knee up into their abdomen. With a cry of pain, their grip loosens enough for Denki to wind his head back and slam his helmet into their unprotected chin. Their hands fly up to their face, leaving Denki free to wind back and wrap them loosely in his whip. They don't have time to try and fight it before a charge of electricity is released through the metallic tail and into their body. The trafficker falls to the ground, twitching. It may not have been his quirk's electricity, but boy, if that didn't feel good. The fight seems to have come to an end, the other 4 Glockaburi lying dazed further along the hall. The ones further in the ship should be dealt with by the others, but there might be enough time to meet up for one last group attack.
Denki, Izuku starts, voice all too hesitant for their victory.
What's that on your arm?
Panic creeps up his throat as he looks down to see the fluffy blue tail of a dart sticking out of his arm.